So I want to do a video here on what it's going to take for you to succeed in real estate wholesaling in 2024. And it's the case regardless of whatever strategy you're utilizing. I obviously do online lead generation, so we're getting online leads from Facebook ads, from TikTok ads, from Google pay-per-click, but this applies to you regardless. Now, the main thing, and I'm going to break it down into 4 things, and those 4 things are: you need leads, you need sales, sales ability, you need the ability to analyze properties correctly, and then the last one is the one that most people are missing, and that is aggressiveness. And I'm going to go through these in the order. Now, let's talk about leads. At the end of the day, the majority of the people that we come in contact with when it comes to doing real estate wholesaling, they're not going to be our clients. They're going to want too much for their property. They're going to want retail value. They're going to just a variety of different things that they're not going to want to sell the property at a discount. They don't have the situation. Now, we encounter a lot of people that complain and say, "Oh, Chico, these leads are not good." And I'm saying, "How many leads did you generate?" And they're like, "Oh, I've gone through 5 leads already," and they all want retail value. And I'm like, "Hello, that is the case for most of these leads. Stop complaining and generate more leads and get to the ones that are actually motivated in order to do something." And so at the end of the day, you have to understand that it is purely a numbers game in this business. And because it is a numbers game, you need leads. You need lots of them, especially if you're brand new in the business. You don't know what the hell you're doing. That means you need practice. And the best way to get practice is not by sitting in a seminar room, with a bunch of people. It's not by listening to a bunch of audios and videos, etc. It's by actually doing the business, getting out into the business, and into the streets, and doing deals, and try to talk to sellers and getting your butt kicked, because that's the only way you're going to learn. But you need the leads coming in so that you get the practice. And so you got to figure out a way as quickly as you can is how do you get a lot of leads? Because I guarantee you that if you're, say, only have 5 motivated sellers this month, all right, versus if you had 30 to 35 people that you had to speak with, make offers, and try and negotiate with this month, at the end of this month, you would be significantly improved in terms of everything, in terms of your abilities and your possibilities of getting deals. And it's only because of the sheer nature of the repetition. So bottom line is you need to figure out a way to have a large number of incoming leads coming into your business. Figure that out. That's number 1. And I'm a big proponent, again, of Facebook ads, online marketing, Facebook, TikTok ads, Google. If you're interested, there's a link in the description. We set that up for you, and we show you how to run them if you're interested. So let's talk about item number 2 in order to be successful, and it is sales. Now, the interesting thing is that most people don't realize that they're really bad at sales. And sales is a couple of layers. Sales is knowing what to say and how you say it. That's what it comes down to. What to say is you have a script. You know that script like the back of your hand, and you practice. And the only way you know that script by the back of your hand is that because you practice it each and every single day. It's like a warm up. Before you get on the phone with sellers, you go through that script once or twice. You're practicing with other people. You are following that script, so you know like the back of your hand. If I wake you up in the middle of the night and I wake you up and I ask you to recite your script, you know it. Because the thing is that if you don't know the script, you're not really listening to the prospect, because in your mind, you're thinking about what you're going to say next, as opposed to knowing what you're going to say and then listening into that prospect's conversation. And so knowing your script is really, really important. Now, how you say that script is another aspect of it, because if you sound monotone, hello, this is Cris. Hello, this is Cris, and I'm calling you about your property for sale. You sound like you're half asleep or whatever. That's not going to cut it, because you have to understand that these people are talking to people all day long, especially if they're trying to sell their property. They might be talking to a couple other wholesalers, and what makes a difference is not the words you say, but how you say them. At the end of the day, they have to get off the phone with you or be on the phone with you and say, "My God, I think this guy knows what the hell he's doing. These other bozos that I spoke with had no idea, but this guy, I think this is the guy that's going to help me." Or gal. And so how you come across is your cadence, your enthusiasm, your ability to sound like a figure of authority when you're talking with a property owner. All right, so that is key. So again, sales is an important part of the process, and so you got to go out and get sales training. That's bottom line, and you gotta study it each and every single day, and look at that as a critical aspect of you trying to get deals done. The third aspect is analyzing properties correctly. Because, at the end of the day, if a deal comes through and you don't know what a deal looks like, then you're going to just fumble it and make the wrong offers, make the wrong analysis, and then in the end, you're going to miss out on an opportunity. So analyzing deals is, again, critically important. Now, this one's a little bit tougher because there's people out there that will give you like a formula, 70% of a value of the property, less this, less that. But, those formulas only work for a very small number of properties and situations. At the end of the day, you really got to go into Zillow and look at a property and say, well, this is the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and this is what it's sold for. This is what other properties in the area are selling for. This is what this one, I think would be worth if I put it on the open market. What would be a great price? And so there's a lot of variables that go into that, but you got to be able to figure out property analysis. I think that the best way to learn property analysis is a couple of different things. Because number one is you got to have a framework that you're looking at in terms of like a methodology. Like, for example, when we go on Zillow, one of the things we do, we analyze all of our properties on Zillow. So we go on Zillow, we look at, okay, how many properties are active of that same type of property in the market? And if we toggle between active and pending, how is that market moving? Is it moving quickly? Is it moving slower? Because then you can look at the ratio of properties in terms of active versus pending, and then have a good idea of what the situation is. And other things. There's a particular process that we follow. But then now on top of that, there's nuances because now it's a repetition. But how do you go through that repetition? Well, the best way, I think, is that, and it's a very laborious, and you're not going to like this, but you have got to sit through as many property analysis videos as you can, where you're watching somebody and it's monotonous. You're watching them make a decision about a property, and you're doing that step by, you're doing that over and over again until you understand the nuances of it. And if you're going to do that, ideally, you look at it from the filter or somebody who's operating the same type of business you are. So, like, for example, if you're doing wholesaling or novations, and you'd want to be able to watch videos for somebody who's doing those type of deals, not somebody who's doing creative financing, because their methodology and their process for analyzing properties is going to be significantly different than yours. So analyzing properties is key. So we talked about, you got to get enough leads. You got to know how to sell. Don't sound like you got a sock in your mouth. And analyzing properties. Now, the last one is aggressiveness. I find that a lot of people are not as aggressive as they should when it comes to making deals happen. And so what is that umbrella? What is the umbrella under which the other things fall under for aggressiveness? Number one is follow-up. When a lead comes in, you got to be on top of that lead, especially online leads. They come in, you got to try to get a hold of them as quickly as possible. You have got to make their life a living hell until you get a hold of them. Because most people are going to you're going to have a difficult time getting a hold of people. You got to be aggressive. What does aggressive mean? It means that you're going to go ahead and, let's say if you're a lead that came in, I'm going to call you. Then if you don't pick up, I'm going to text you. Hey, this is Cris for National Property Buyer. I just called you about your property that you're looking to get an offer on. I'm going to call you again. Call them again. They don't pick up. Hey, text message. Okay, just called you. When's the best time to reach you? And you send them an email. Hey, I just called you. When's the best time to reach you? And then you do that again. So if the lead came in the morning, you do that again in the afternoon. If the lead came in the afternoon, early evening, you do that the next day. The next day, you do that twice. The next day after that, you do that twice. And you might say, well, Chico, didn't they fill out the form? They do. They fill out the form. But they're busy. Like, especially with social media, right? It could have been that they were on the toilet. Because that's the thing you do when you're in the toilet. You scroll through Facebook. And then, I don't even think I could use the toilet without my phone. You ever thought about that? So then, they're scrolling, they see your ad. They're like, oh man, I gotta get rid of that crappy property. That tenant, oh my God. You know what? That's right, I gotta get rid of it. They put in their information. And they hit submit. And then they're done with the toilet. So what do they gotta do? They gotta put the phone down, and now their hands are busy. You know what they're busy? They're doing what they're gonna do to make sure that they're clean and get out the door. And then you call them. And you're like calling them and blowing their phone up, but they can't talk to you. They may have been at the grocery store. And you're calling them, and now they're dealing with something else. So they're busy. They got other things going on. You got to be aggressive. And keep in mind is that they filled out the form. They reached out to you. So that means that if they got a problem, they should tell you, like, hey, I'm so sorry. I filled out the form accidentally. Please stop calling me. That's what you want. You'd rather hear that. But you're going to go after them like it's the end of the world. And if you don't get a hold of them, everything is going to the earth is going to collapse. Number two is that, keep in mind is that, what is the intent of follow-up? If you've got leads that you're following up with, sometimes people have the mindset of, I'm going to go and follow up on my leads today. No, that's not the mindset. The mindset is, I'm going to go out and I got to get a contract. It's a different mindset. If you go into the mindset of, I got to follow up on my leads, that's a very timid approach. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to check my boxes. I got to, this guy, I got to call, this guy, I got to text. When you have the mindset of, I got to find me a contract today. Now it's a killer mindset. It's like, I got to close, I got to push people, and I got to get them to say yes. And that's different than just following up. The second thing is being okay with closing and being okay with and again, if you haven't been in sales, then part of it is building up the muscle for you in terms of closing, meaning that you have got to be okay with creating friction in conversations. And creating friction in conversation occurs when you make an offer that's too low and the seller is upset, and now you got to backtrack. So you need the script for that. Uncomfortable conversations where you're pushing them and saying, Mr. Seller, I've got a limited number of houses to buy. I've got a list of sellers. I would like to buy yours. I would like a decision today. It's okay if you told me no, but being pushy is okay. A lot of us, personally, myself included, I don't like being pushy. But what you like and what is necessary are two different things. If you want to make money, then you do the things that are necessary. If you don't want to make money, then you do the things that you like. And there's a fine line. And I've said this before in videos. Doing what's required versus doing your best. You might be doing your best because you're following up with the leads and you're doing your best when you have the conversations with them. But if you're not closing deals, then you might be doing your best, but you're not doing what's required. And I think that there has to be a killer mindset because other people are out there doing the same thing as you. All right. This is not pie in the sky. This is not like money coming down from the sky, gold poop coming from unicorns. At the end of the day, it's a sales thing. It's sales and marketing. And if you feel uncomfortable with that, then maybe you're in the wrong business. But I say that because I just think that people coming with the wrong mindset into this business can create for you a tremendous amount of money. But yet you're stuck because you're not approaching it in the way that it is required for you to have success, and because of that, then you're floundering. All right. Let me know if this makes sense. Make a comment. Let me know if you like this video, and I'll talk to you soon.